Hi yogis, we are going to do yin. Today's practice is about forgiveness and also about growth. We are in spring and springtime is a time for growth. So today you'll want a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, just grab a blanket and roll that up. A couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, just grab books, preferably hardbacks because they're a little bit more sturdy. Maybe a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can just use a blanket again or a towel, anything that you can just loop around the legs. So I'll meet you in just a moment on your mats. Let's come to a comfortable position of your choice. So you can be easy seated, you can be lying down. Pregnancies, I'd like you to be on your left hand side if you're lying down, or prop your back up with a bolster or a cushion. Maybe you can just lean against a wall as well. Maybe at the end of your bed here. Actually, that's really nice. Just be here and just let yourself release. So I'm going to stay here because this feels really good. I didn't even think of that before. So wherever you are, just start coming into your breath and close the eyes or have a soft gaze. Now, as I mentioned before, today's about forgiveness and about spring. Something that I personally struggle with at times is when I let go of something, but I don't fully forgive it, it always comes back around. Seems to surface into my mind when I become still, especially in a yin practice like what we're doing today. So, and this happens to a lot of us, but it can feel like an overwhelming amount of mental turbulence. And this can be over stuff that we think we had put away years ago. It just suddenly resurfaces, and it's important to remember that life can be hectic for many of us. Most of us will have experienced at least once or twice a very, very hectic life. And it's important to be mindful and take the time that we can make available to forgive ourselves, to forgive whatever is troubling us. So let's take this time together to find some peace, find some quiet, and open up the opportunity to forgive. So let's start by bringing the hands to the tummy, or you can bring the hands to the heart if that's your calling right now. For any of us to grow, the health of our soil in which we grow is kind of like our minds. If we imagine or we class our minds as the soil and our thoughts as seeds, it's important to treat the soil and those seeds with love, with care, nurture, and to nourish it with all of those things. Offer some support as well. So as you're coming into your breath, I'd like you to find gratitude for your breath, gratitude for the energy of life that comes with it, and forgive yourself for ever ignoring your breath. Forgive yourself for ever underestimating your self-worth. Forgive yourself for ever thinking you are not worth these breaths of life, not worthy of gratitude or forgiveness. Forgive yourself for ever thinking or believing that. And encourage a deeper breath directly into the heart. And can you take that awareness of breath deeper into your bones as they relax and they feel into the sensation of release. You may want to set an intention now. You don't have to. If you want to use an intention but nothing's coming to mind, you can use, for example, I forgive, I am worthy, I release, let's start some movement through the hands now, then the wrists, maybe rock the heads from side to side. Ooh, excuse me. And it's come into a supine Baddha Konasana. So what we want is a bolster underneath the back or a blanket. I'll show you what I've got here, just in case I know you can't see. So bolster, a couple of blocks or a book, and we're going to rest our backs onto the bolster and have the soles of the feet together and the knees roll out to the side, coming all the way down. Soles of the feet together. You can use support, maybe if you've got blocks, you might want to pop them underneath the thighs to offer yourself a little bit more support there. Now hands can come wherever feel good. You might want to bring the hands onto the tummy again. If you're pregnant, you may want to just direct some love and some nurturing breaths down to your womb space and down to your baby. And just start releasing the jaw, the mouth. So we're opening up through the groin and also releasing the outer sides of the legs. Grounding through our root chakra, the base of the energetic spine. For those who like to use something visual to keep their minds still and present, you may want to invite a glowing red colour into the base of the spine as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Utilize the space that you have to breathe. Be mindful not to intellectualize anything. Just let yourself be here. You may be able to feel your breath just cascading down the spine and down into the earth. Feel your body melt down. Slowly start bringing the knees together, so you might want to use the hands to support, and then set the soles of the feet on the floor and open the feet out to mat's width or a little bit less, and then just encourage the knees to come together. Feel that gentle release for the tops of the hips in the psoas. Okay, from here we're going to thread the needle. So we're going to start by bringing our left ankle on top of the right thigh. Now you can keep it here if you would like, or you can draw the right heel closer up towards the bottom. So keeping it here maybe, if you're feeling an opening through the outer layer of this left leg. Maybe you can use a strap if you'd like as well, or you can interlace the fingers around the right back of the right thigh and just hug in here. You can also do this without the bolster behind your back as well. Pregnancies, however, I just encourage you to stay upright here. So we're going to stay for about a minute or so. Slowly release our grip and gently place the right foot onto the floor, unravel the left leg, rock the knees side to side, and swap sides. So right ankle on top of left leg, you can keep it here, you can walk the left heel closer towards the bottom, or thread the needle. Remember to breathe. release that left foot down, and then the right, and give the legs a rock side to side. Let's find ourselves in an easy seated position. So coming up, I'm going to pop the support just over to one side. And make your way onto your hands and your knees. And take any free movement that feels nice here, so you can maybe just take a rock from side to side, maybe some rolls through the hips. So we should have already awoken a little bit of gentle energy within the innermost channels of the legs. And also stimulated that outer line of the legs as well. Okay, we're going to come into Sleeping Swan, which is similar to Pigeon. So we're going to bring the right knee, keep the right knee on the floor and just slide it up behind the right wrist and walk the left leg back, so you can see past my jumper. My left leg behind me is straight. You may want to have a little look behind just to make sure the left foot is in line with the hip, so the foot's not sickling in or turning out. Take hold of a bolster or a block and pop the block underneath the right sit bone and guide this right foot out a little bit. So if you can flex the foot, if that feels comfortable to flex the foot, please do. Let's see if I can bring it down a bit. But if it feels better, like it does actually with me, to have it released, that's fine. If you don't feel that you need the support underneath the hips, by all means, just pop it out the way. We're going to come forward onto our forearms, or maybe use that bolster and use this as a cushion just to drape the body over. So the Sleeping Swan, we're targeting the gallbladder meridian and also the liver meridian. The gallbladder energy, or the energy of the gallbladder, gives us the ability to feel supported when making decisions. Some certain traits that can represent maybe a little bit of a weakness. The energy of the gallbladder is indecisiveness, being easily discouraged. So if you find that you are ever discouraged quite easily by your own habitual thoughts, offer yourself forgiveness. Now, I mentioned the energy of the liver as well. So here lays the vision for our lives, directions that we must take. The energy of the liver relates to emotions, Some of them can be anger, frustration, sometimes resentment. But if these emotions are channeled wisely, they can lead to, they can just help direct us to be a little bit more creative. They help clear our path as well. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And roll onto that right hip, right side of the body. And we're going to take a lateral half Baddha Konasana. So we're going to keep the right leg bent. I'm actually going to face the long side of the mat because I don't have room to open my left leg out. So, using your bolster or a block, just going to rest the left hand on, the left forearm on here, and we're just going to take a lean over this leg and maybe use the hand to support the head here, just so you can let it release. And the right hand can come onto the right knee, or maybe you want to bring the right hand down to the earth, maybe behind the back, just where it can rest naturally. So we're not pushing anything away, we're not forcing ourselves into a posture. We are, however, making sure we are taking a little bit of movement to get comfortable. So if you've come straight down and you're thinking, oh gosh, I really, really don't like where I am right now, I don't feel comfortable, I can't focus my mind on my breath, then bring yourself up and get more comfy. So you can be here if you want, you can be all the way down here if you want, doesn't matter. Maybe reach the right arm overhead. That feels quite nice actually, just to let the arm just drape. And we're opening down that meridian of the gallbladder. Ensure that the bottom is not clenched. That you're able to let go here. And slowly release ourselves, coming back all the way up to seated. Give the shoulders a roll, maybe the head a rock from side to side, just looking left, then right. Left, then right. Lovely. Come back onto your backs, using the support of a bolster if you've got one. So pregnancies, use the bolster. Non-pregnancies, don't worry too much. pregnancies, I'm going to stick with you just so you can see what I'm doing first. So, bananasana. Bananasana? Bananasana, I can never pronounce it. Banana pose, basically. Let's take the feet to the left corner of the mat. We're going to cross the right leg over. So pregnancies, you can stay here and just reach the right arm behind the head and just finding that length down the right side of the waist. Maybe if it feels okay to reach the right arm all the way behind you, you can. Non-pregnancies, you can take the arms all the way to the back left corner of your mat, or the top left, you know what I mean? So you're coming into that nice banana shape. Once again, running down the meridian line, the right side of the body, connecting to the gallbladder. Finding strength to grow, strength in forgiveness, enabling us to move on, move forward, proudly, freely, confidently. Make your way back into center, releasing the hands. The legs are rock side to side. Now we're going to come back up onto our hands and our knees and take our sleeping swan, or that pigeon pose, on the other leg. So we're going to bring the left knee, this time left knee up behind the left wrist, and walk the right leg back. An option to bring this leg out a little bit. Pregnancies, obviously, make sure you've got space for baby, so not compressing down. And use the support that you have available if you need it. And rest down here. Let's stay here for a short while. Taking any movement just so you can get comfortable. The aim of yin is to release as comfortably as you can. Let the earth just take hold of you, and also move away from pushing against the earth. So right now you could be thinking about just physically, specifically, releasing the jaw, any past facial expression, releasing the tummy, the bottom, the toes, the hands, the thighs. Little by little, hopefully you'll find yourself releasing and diving deeper into the earth as that breath once again is just cascading down the body, As you start to forgive, you start to free up your mind, free up your body. You take the weight off your body. The weight off your mind. Let's take one more breath here. And slowly bring yourself up. And we're going to take that lateral side stretch, or lateral half Baddha to the other side. So right leg is straight, left leg is bent. Maybe right now you can notice the breath is feeling lighter, more buoyant. The body may be feeling a little bit heavier, but free. You may be feeling an opening down the left side of the waist, which is Brill. Maybe you're feeling it into the lower left part of your back, into the sacrum. And if so, if it feels that it's pinching, then just ease off, because we are getting into the SIJ a little bit here. And for some people, including myself, it can be a little bit troublesome, that area. Remember to forgive yourself, forgive your body for the limitations that it sometimes has, not always. But those limitations are there to protect you, so that we don't push ourselves beyond a space that we're ready for. Our path will become clear the more and more we practice forgiveness, the more and more we practice stillness, release. And let's come back to center. And we'll take that banana stretch again on the other side. So, let's come this side. Using support underneath the back. We're going to take the feet, and if you're not pregnant, then you don't have to use a bolster anyway, but it's just good practice. Feet to the right corner of the mat. Option, the hands can stay here, or you might want to reach the left arm behind, or if you can, reach both arms up to the top or the back right corner of your mat if you're not on a bolster. So in Yin Yoga, I often talk about how we're not stretching the limbs, we're not stretching the muscles as such. We're getting into the fascia, that membrane that runs around the body, around the bones. It gives us our shape, it holds everything together. We're just giving ourselves a bit of time to lengthen the fascia out. Such a good practice to incorporate into your weekly routine of yoga or any other activities, any other sports, fitness that you do. Offering yourself that time to honour yourself on your mat. The art of letting go. Yin can be challenging, but so can anything in life. So honour the challenge. Forgive yourself again and again for any of the hurdles that you face. It could be something as simple as, I forgive myself for believing that I couldn't let go. I forgive myself for not previously letting go. I am grateful for the release of letting go. Okay, start bringing the body back to center. And the legs. Let's bring the knees up, soles of the feet together, soles of the feet on the floor, and rock from side to side. Come up to a seated position. We're going to face the long sides of our mat. Coming into a wide leg seated forward fold. So legs only as far out as feels comfortable. Support bolster. You can even have something behind your back and just sit upright if that feels better. But the aim is just to have a gentle fold forward if you can. Don't worry about having support underneath the hips. So my personal go-to is having a bolster and just resting my head on that here. You can also just sit up against a wall and just put your your head against a wall. That works quite nicely. So releasing the back body here, the lower back as well. Maybe consider where your breath is. Maybe you can direct your breath into the back kidney band of the body, so right into the mid-back. Hands rest where they fall naturally. you've got your head facing one way, just invite you to take it the other way. Gently push into the hands and float the body up. And just feel that blood moving down into the legs and around the heart, into the arms. Awesome. Alright. Finding our way back onto our hands and our knees. Take a rock from side to side here. And we're going to take an extended child's pose. Pregnancies, if you're further along into your third trimester, if you're in your third trimester, you may want to just stick with just child's pose, so having the toes together, heels underneath the bottom, folding forward, or by all means come onto your forearms here so you've got more room for baby. Everyone else, if it's possible, we're going to open the feet out a little bit wider, knees out nice and wide, and we're going to encourage the heart down towards the earth. And take these deep breaths into the back area of the ribs. So I'm just sorting out my leggings because they keep falling down. You can also massage your head on the mat. Maybe offer yourself another little bit of love by giving the legs a little massage. Maybe even the lower back. And then bring the hands into prayer above the head. Release the hands down to the mat. Come back up onto our hands and knees. So walk the hands back, draw the knees in, and take a rock from side to side. Alright. Final relaxation, Shavasana. Bring yourself into a posture that feels good. So where we started, ideally we want to do this. I'm going to stay upright because I'm going to do some sound healing for you. But ideally we want to be on our backs, or you can lean up against a wall. You can be here where I am, leaning up against something and just releasing your head back. Anywhere that you can release and you can really open up. Do be sure to grab yourself some blankets, extra cushions and whatnot, so that you can be warm. It's very important to be warm. And if there are any other postures that you would like to take, so if you feel that you would like to take a down dog just to lengthen the limbs a little bit more, you can do. But firstly, just start coming into your own relaxation, getting yourself comfortable, getting yourself still and settled. Laying comfortably, feel both shoulders, both hips, both arms, both legs upon the earth with equal weight, both left to right. Really let your hips be heavy from the base of the spine. And draw the sides of the neck all the way back into the earth, keeping the eyes closed. Feeling alert, but at ease. Start to pay attention to the exhales. Are they long short? Are they calm or are they jagged? Do your breaths or your exhales, do they leave your body in a rush, or do you not quite get to the bottom of them? Where does the breath leave your body? Remember, you're not trying to control or fix the exhalation. Just observe it. Keep paying attention to the breath that moves out, to the release of breath. Now start to pay attention to the spaces between the breath. Are these spaces large, or are they shortly lived? Are you rushing to the inhale? Do they seem non-existent, or do they spread out over time? Just keep your attention on the spaces between breaths. Now shift your attention to the inhales. Where do they enter your body? At the tips of the nostrils or the top of the lip? Are they warm or are they cool? Are you grasping for them, or do they appear out of nowhere? Just observe, and there's no need to change anything. As you interfere less, or stop trying to change the natural flow of your breath, the breath will move of its own accord. And just watch the four parts of the breath now. The inhale, the space before the exhale, and the space before your new breath in. Your mind and your body will naturally fall into equilibrium as you allow the process to unfold. invite you to take a Shavasana as long as you need. But if you feel ready to start coming out of your Shavasana now and start coming to the end of your practice, please meet me in a seated position. Bring the hands to center at our heart in prayer. Thanking yourself for your practice. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Forgive situations. From my heart to your heart, Namaste.